The players have come in, and some guys are looking hopeful for tomorrow. Um, and first, I'm looking. I was looking to put Weidman in at some point, but we were winning the games, and it was hard to get him back in. So I'm definitely looking at that for tomorrow, regardless of injuries. Pyatt also, I was looking to bring him in last game, but I didn't want to touch her lineup because it had won. Most chances are that Pyatt will be back in also. So two regular guys that have been really good for us all year. They'll be back in, and who they're taking out is going to depend on the injuries.
Would you say they're both day-to-day, Ryan and Smith, from last night still?
Oh yeah, and from the looks of it, Ryan, I don't see him not playing tomorrow. So I think right now it's you need to check on the ice, but right now he should be ready to go.
Would you consider going 7-11 at this stage, or no?
At any stage, I could, yes.
Are you leaning that way, or?
Not necessarily, no.
When you look back at it, intensity aside, desperation aside, what specifically did they do that caused your team so many problems, especially in that first period?
There's no aside. That's what it was about. Period. The game is there. There was nothing different that they did. We just looked at the video. They just wanted it more than us. They were first on puck, and they won their battles. And our percentage in the first period and first on puck and the winning battles is below 35%. So I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what systems you use. If we're playing like that, there's no way we could win any game, not even a regular season game. I mean, that was below every single standard. Like, we blocked 11 shots in the entire game, and we're a team, according to how we mark it, we're always 22, 25 block shots a game, and we're at 11. I mean, so we're not even close to our standards, and we know that. So the gap was way bigger because their standards of being first on puck and battling, their battle level went so much above, and we went lower. So I mean, that's a double gap there. So we weren't even close.
Coach, how much can the score change that battle level? The 2-0 goal seemed to be pretty deflating.
No, I think regardless of how many goals they scored in the first period, we were just not there. Period, and they were outstanding. And they wanted it so bad, and you could see that it was total desperation. Every line that went on in their team had desperation, and we did not. And there was no deflating in there. We got into the second period, and here's the difference. The second and third period, it's 9 scoring chances against 9. In the second and third, and the shots are 22-15 for us. So it was, like I said, we've lost the game in the first period, and what I didn't like about our second period is that, like we've done a few times, is we're trying to cheat our way to get back in the game, and both goals, it's us or our third forward, and not staying disciplined, and we gave them the 2 goals. So if we kept it at 2 goals, and we did score 1 goal, it'd be a 1-goal game. So there would have been a game in the third period, but there wasn't, because in the first it was about our battle level. It was about our awareness and our urgency level. And then when we had that in the second period, back on track, we still didn't have the discipline that we need to have to beat this team. So, I mean, it's 2 periods where you don't have what it takes. Forget it. You're not going to win this game with 1 period, for sure.
When your team loses its discipline in terms of structure, is that just guys trying to do too much?
Yeah, it can be, and I think in the second period probably it was. But as we showed the previous game, as we showed all year long, it's when you're trying to do that and you're pushing yourself out of your discipline, you're not winning more, you're winning less. And the previous game, we came back from a 2-goal deficit because we stuck to what we were supposed to do, and our third man gave us those 2 goals. It was the same against Boston when we were trailing 3-1. We got back in the game, not because we were starting to do something different. We just stuck to what we're supposed to do in a very consistent manner, and the game came back to us. And we know that. So when you look at the entire game, we just absolutely didn't deserve it. Period. Like they deserved it for every possible reason. That's it. They deserved it.
One more person to have a tougher game, could he benefit from sitting maybe? Or?
We'll see. I mean, Ben was the same as the rest of the players. So, I mean, I thought CC was one of the few guys that had a really solid game. He had 5 block shots out of our 11. There's only 6 left from the entire team. And I thought he played fine from the beginning to the end, and he was +1 in a game like that. So, I mean, it shows you. And, of course, I thought Pager was played a pretty good game again. But you can't get into those games. You got to have everybody. I mean, this team is so good on the other side that you can't even start thinking of being rivals with them if you don't have everybody on the same page. I mean, it won't even be close if we're not what we were before. But you know what? I have to be fair. I mean, it's been a long time since we played a bad game. It's been a long, long time. And you look at the series against Boston, and we won the series and we lost 2 games, but we didn't play bad in those 2 games. We played well, so it was a really hard-fought series where our guys were very consistent and a lot of bouncing back and a lot of resiliency. And I think the first 2 games were the same against the Rangers. We just had one bad one because even though we were expecting them to charge out and have the urgency and the desperation that they had, I think until we lived it, we didn't realize how much higher the caliber could go up, and now we know. Now we really know because we've lived it, so it's pretty scary out there.
What do you need to see from your team tomorrow night, especially early?
Start at the same time as them. That's it. Or else we have no chance. We have to have the urgency, the battle level that we normally have, and we got to match theirs because we know that, again, they'll be home and they'll most probably display the exact same urgency as they did last game. So that's where it starts. Then we have a chance to at least compete with them, and that's what we're looking for.
Are there specific things you can do offensively to get something on Lundqvist? Because he had a pretty
Yeah,
easy night last night.
He had an easy night for the same reason that any goalie will have an easy night. I mean, less than 40% of our shots, we screened them, so we're not going anywhere against any goalie when we have that. And so he worked harder around his crease than our players did, so you're not going to score any goals, that's for sure, especially on him.
Does a guy like Colin White ever come into the mix when you're
Yeah.
considering?
Always. When we look at why we need players, the position first of all, and the type of player, and who's going to be playing with them. So yeah, his name is always up. Nealer and Kelly and him, and I mean, of course, Pyatt now. So yeah, Wideman, Yoki Packus. I mean, the names are always on the table. We always discuss it, and then we make a final decision on what we need.
But his inexperience might weigh against him at this stage?
Oh, of course it does. I mean, before we start choosing guys that have not been here all year long, I mean, we've won all year. We've been through so much, and our players have been really sticking together. You got to privilege the guys that have been in here all year. But if we feel that we need him for the tools that he can bring, because we're missing either a center or missing somebody that has the speed or the puck handling that he has, we won't hesitate. If that's what we feel we need, we won't hesitate. But first and foremost, I think we have to look inside at the players that have been battling for us since day one, without excluding him.